continuance of this Ford Explorer. I got pulled off of it yesterday. Had to do something else. So here we go. Here we go. Timing cover's all on. Engine mount's back in. Everything's all glued up. You see my marks. Everything's all timed correctly. Get a light down below. But I can see balance is on, belt's on, tension is in, cover's all torqued down. And we'll just clean some stuff up, and we're going to put some valve covers on and put an intake on. And we're doing spark plugs while we're here too, so we might as well. Stuff will just come right off with a rag. I don't have to do the front half of the cover because I got that all cleaned up when I had the cover removed. You know, and obviously you want to make sure you don't drop any stuff into the engine here. You don't want to do that. Try to keep it as clean as possible. That's why, as you see, I got rags all dumped in the intake and so on and so forth, and I'm just using a piece of Scotch-Brite. Get everything cleaned up. Nice sealing surface. Yeah, the valve cover's all pretty well prepped. I just gotta throw the valve cover gaskets in them. I put the tube well seals and everything yesterday, which was nice. Gotta be a little ahead. So we'll get this one all cleaned up. It's actually pretty clean already, which is nice. Saves me a ton of work. That, and I drained the oil out of it yesterday. Flushed a little bit more oil through the oil pan, so I can make sure there was no antifreeze and gunk, and made sure no gasket material or any RTV or any of that stuff ended up in the pan, so we don't want to clog up a pickup tube. That would be bad. I'm sure you guys don't want to see all this either, but this is pretty much the gist of it. So I'll clean this all up, and we'll fast forward to the put the valve covers on. We'll put the gaskets and the valve covers with the RTV on there. See you in a few. And like I said, I pressed all the tube well seals in yesterday. So I'm going through and just getting all the oiliness on the grooves in your valve cover here. So put the gasket in. That, and then before you put this thing down in, I usually take a little bit of oil and lube up on the tube seals because it seems like the cover likes to get hung up. Yeah, I'm just kind of using a rag. Grab a Q-tip if I have to. Pinching it up, getting all the junk out of where the gasket's going to lay. Pretty clean as it is. Nice. And this car's pretty well maintained. Oil change intervals are usually pretty good. We want to kind of, Ford could put gaskets in a bag so they weren't, turned into a pretzel. We'd be all set. But as you can see, it's not what it turned into. So this appears to be the correct one for over here. And we just kind of press it in. And you can see, right? I'll show everybody. It's got this knurled, almost it's got ridges on it, and the flat part lays down. So this part here lays down on the actual cylinder head, and this part goes into the valve cover. Come on, get in there. Wanna mess it up already? Yep, I did. There we go. That's how she goes. Yeah, and she should just kind of fall into place as you go. Take my fingers and push her in there. Started, and then we'll go through and we'll make sure it's all seated down all the way. Make sure everything's nice. Yeah, the only thing I did not get for this too is these, I don't know, VBT solenoid. I did not get the O-rings for around here. But they do feel nice and rubbery still. Yes, they are. Nice and rubbery, they're not all hard. So, reuse those. I probably could have reused the valve cover gaskets too, the old ones. If I had to, they were still really, really nice. Still in good shape. But we're here. The benefits of having rubber, they're not flattened out. They're still in good shape. We got some of Ford's high performance, you guys can see, RTV silicone. Right, stuff that, you know, I'm sure you could just, if you were doing this, you could just use any RTV sealer. But you just want to put a little dab. Make sure she's spread out. Just where the timing cover of the cylinder head meets. Just a little bit right on the corners there. Just to keep her all nice and sealed up. It would stick to the head better than it stuck to my finger, we'd be all set. Yes. I just put her down there and smooth it all around. Make sure we get the right valve cover and put it in the right spot. And we do. It's the one with the oil fill in the front. And so there we go. I'm going to take a little bit of engine oil. She'll squirt for me. And I just lubricate all these tube seals. Because like I said, they can be a fight, and especially when they're stuck on there coming off, they can be a little bit of a battle. So we'll make sure everything's well lubricated so we don't have to fight anything on the way down. Right. And we sneak her in there. Pinching any harnesses. Let's see. Harness out of the way. Obviously, make sure your gasket stays down in there. Side's nice. Stuff on my field. Wiring harness out of my way. Yeah, baby. There she goes. Yes, start them all by hand. Alright, really don't want to strip one of these. Turns into a bad day of drilling and putting a helicoil in there. Ask me how I know. We were all hugga-dugga happy at one point in life. Learn from your mistakes, right? But yes, I just go through and I get them all, every single one of them by hand. Make sure they're all started. Right. We'll kind of start with a crisscross pattern from the outside towards the in, just to get everything tucked into place. And it's going to be a 10mm on a swivel. locking impact on wuss bag mode, and just kind of get them to go. Start with these two studs that are in the middle. Bring them down a little bit. Put the edges here. And just kind of get everybody to go down. That's what you want. You don't want to send them all home and tight, and the valve cover will get all cocked. One side will be up high, the other side will be down low. It's not what you want. Everybody can see I just kind of staggered it out a little bit, just so we go down nice and even. That's all you want. You know. All right, so I got everybody seated down. And I'll get rid of that. With that. We really don't want to, you know, snap something. You know, bring them all. It's just a small 3/8 drive, the size of a 1/4 inch ratchet, but it's got a 3/8 drive head on it, so I can use my 3/8 stuff. Because I don't feel like walking over to the toolbox to get 1/4 inch stuff. But see, go around it a few times, get everybody all nice and seated. You know, it's one of these things that a lot of people like to rush, but just take your time. There's no reason that you should have to rush it. You know, you want to make sure it seals up right. Same thing with the timing cover, you know what I mean? I didn't bring you guys along for that, but I didn't rush it. I took my time. I made sure there was an even set of sealer all the way around, you know. Make sure it was covered all the holes and everywhere it needed to go. One of those things that you just can't be rushed on, especially on something big like this. And I'm sure once you get good at them, like, you know, I do a lot of Chrysler 3.6s. That's something I can just whip out, blast through, because I've done so many of them, you know, depending on if it's pulling the intakes off or doing the valve covers or doing camshafts or whatever. I've learned, because I've done so many, I've learned lots of shortcuts. And like I said in the beginning of these ones, I haven't done many of these at all. I've looked up the torque specs, and I think it's like somewhere around like 12, or in between 12 and 15 foot-pounds or something like that. 90 inch-pounds or something in that aspect, but you know, it seems to me like every time I do that with a valve cover, not that I'm saying I don't like torque specs, because I tend to torque as much stuff as I possibly can. You gotta make sure it's right. I end up with I almost feel like they're too loose afterwards and everything's not set correctly. I don't know if it's just because the gasket sits up right, but it's just my personal preference. I just go through, make sure they're all snug. Everybody's good. Okay, so that valve cover's in. Easy peasy. It's good.